This is my project on the Great Depression. Before the Great Depression, there were still hundreds and hundreds of homeless people living in alleys. During the Great Depression, the number almost tripled of homeless people living on the streets, and the cause and effect of all this homelessness and homeless people were it teared families apart and scarred people for life. This is a cartoon showing a governor standing by a farmer. This was when the government passed the Agriculture Adjustment Act, which paid farmers to destroy all the crops that they were growing on their homeland. This source letter was written by a 14-year-old girl from Ohio, directed to the President of the United States, which was Roosevelt. She was begging the president to send her clothes and money because she was getting made fun of at school for wearing no clothes or very little clothes. This news article was named 1929 Stock Market Crash, which was talking about how New York lost 80% of the values. That day was known as Black Thursday. The next day after this article was published, the unemployment rate scored up 23% and kept getting worse each day. Roosevelt had a plan called the New Deal, which introduced types of social economic reforms. The thing that made it successful was how fast it worked and how good it worked to all the people. During this time period, the women mostly worked as teachers and nurses if they had a job during this time period. Since women had little to no rights, their pay dropped almost 30%, and then men dropped only 15%. And they stayed at home watching over their kids while their husbands tried to find jobs. The CCC, also known as the Civilian Conservation Corps, was intended to promote environmental conservation and to build good citizens. It was operated under the Army's control, and it ended up being very successful. A second successful company was the FHA, also known as the Federal Housing Administration. Before they came in, people had to put down an 80% down payment on a house. They made it so people can get an 80% loan. That made the length of purchases contracts extend, and this helped hundreds of civilians get housing. Hoover's big policy was to extend the size and scope of the federal government in 6 major areas. Roosevelt's plan was to pass a bill which helped people get back into jobs, and both were very successful in the short term and long term of the United States. This picture really caught my eye because it shows a big line of people waiting to get just a piece of bread, and sometimes people waited hours or even days just to get that. This one shocked me the most out of every photo I saw because it shows a mother selling her own children for money to survive. And here's my works cited.